It's the 10 to 1 podcast with your host, Brad Oman, featuring Ben Conowitz and Nate Laux. And here's the podcast.
Oh, little rise in inflection at the end there on that one.
Well, it's a great show.
It's a good show. The last part is haunted.
Oh, with ghosts.
Featuring Frankenstein.
And Casper.
Nate, you're back.
I am so
We
glad to be
missed you.
back.
Wow, you are so white.
I wear a lot of sunscreen.
Yeah, you went south, right?
I did, and I did lather up like an old man.
You can't tell.
I know. My nose. I didn't do the old dad put on a lot of sunscreen on the nose thing.
You just put it everywhere.
I put it everywhere else, and I wore a sun shirt. I was not getting burned when I was down there.
And you know what? You didn't.
No, I look like a northern Norwegian woman still.
You look
That's
like
the skin
someone
tone
who
I
was
go with.
scared to tell people you went on vacation.
Yeah, there was no question that we come from a place that has a 5-month permacloud when we went down south. It was
true.
like, we're not big into Confederate flags and the sun.
My father went on vacation. We can cut all this. But my father went on vacation to Florida, and he said that he talked to his a friend, and he goes, "Oh wow, Tim, you're really tan." And he goes, "Where'd you go?" And he goes, "Oh, down south." And he just didn't want to say Florida, I guess. Like he wanted to make
Well, I don't know if you've heard of Florida sucks.
Well, Florida's terrible. But
Unless you listen to this podcast, Brad.
I think that he was like maybe trying to allude that he went to Aruba or something, but he's like, down south.
Was it Aruba or was it Jamaica?
Ooh, I want to take you.
Yeah.
Was it Key Largo?
Bermuda?
Montego.
Bahamas? Come on, pretty mama.
You're
He is a
skipping.
pretty
You're
mama.
skipping
Hey.
verses.
Ben is a pretty mama.
You know what, guys? Why don't we go down to Kokomo? We'll get there fast, but we'll take it slow. That's where I want to go.
This is a Saturday Night Live podcast review podcast.
Yeah, we like to review new episodes of Saturday Night Live. We recap them. We talk about each individual sketch, what we liked about them, what we didn't like about them, how good the host was, who our favorite cast member was, and sometimes we have some laughs. Just like to chuckle it up.
You know what? You know when I didn't have some laughs, Brad?
Tell me.
During this episode.
Oh, that's not nice.
I didn't. I just
Why
right off the bat.
but
I didn't like it.
you've said this many times before. Why do you hate Molly Shannon?
I don't hate my.
I'm not even sure if it's Molly Shannon. I think it's just he's not a fan of women comedians.
Oh my God!
Why? Why though? Like what happened to you? Did Rosie O'Donnell hurt you?
Quinta Brunson was on last week. She was fantastic. I loved that episode.
I don't know that because I didn't listen.
Easy, Pepe Le Pew.
No, we can get into it.
All right, wait, no. I want to do something here. We have another podcast, Go Flicks Yourself, which we talk about movies and comedy stuff. I want to do for you guys, I want to ask you a question. I want you to rank these 4 movies based on your preference.
You know, we're
Could be
doing a Saturday Night
different.
Live podcast
I know,
right now, right?
but no. I want you to rank these movies that Molly Shannon has starred or co-starred in.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
Just
Okay.
4 of them. Just 4 of them. Not going to give you all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Molly Shannon has some other things that are in TV. I'm not including that either.
Okay.
All right, first one.
Yeah.
A Night at the Roxbury,
Okay.
which I believe Brad likes.
I do like another Roxbury.
Superstar.
Uh-huh.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Okay.
Talladega Nights.
Okay.
Rank those 4. Do you need me to repeat that?
No.
Okay. Ben, Brad, rank those 4.
Superstars last.
Yep.
Okay.
Ricky Bobby's first.
There's Talladega Nights.
Yep. Tyler is
Would
first.
you agree Talladega Nights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Night of the Roxbury second.
And then How the Grinch Stole
Yep.
Christmas?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
You think that's the order?
Although on any given day, I think I could probably put the Grinch at the bottom too, just because I don't really like the Jim Carrey version of the Grinch very much.
Well, you're a humbug.
Yeah. But
No, I like the original animated version.
But also, Molly Shannon has some great TV shows. Do you think her work on TV is better than her work on film, Brad?
Overall, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe estimate. But there, some of Molly Shannon's best stuff, though, honestly, is stuff that isn't necessarily straight up comedy. There's a movie that she's in called Other People that's actually comes from some SNL people. That was
I was going to include that, but I thought there's probably not enough people that have seen that.
For those of you, if you haven't seen Other People, it's written and directed by Chris Kelly, who has a long history with SNL, and he is fantastic. He wrote and directed this. It stars Jesse Plemons, who seems to be kind of playing a version of Chris Kelly, and it's a sad indie movie, but it also has comedy in it because it's about Jesse Plemons going home after trying to be like a showbiz writer, and he finds out that his mom, played by Molly Shannon, has cancer, and so there's an emotional arc to it, but it also is very funny because it comes from a comedy writer.
It sounds hilarious.
It's very good. I think
It sounds hilarious.
I think it's still on Netflix, but it's fantastic. I saw it at Sundance when it came out. It's a great indie.
You know, Nate, that Molly Shannon, she's great as the mom in Schitt's Creek.
Oh, jeez.
The disrespect again.
You know what? She is great as the mom in the other two. I don't know if you've seen that. Another vehicle by Chris Kelly.
Another project that has the word "other" in it.
Yeah, Chris Kelly did that one as well.
Yeah.
Brad, you got me hooked on that. Actually, it is a very good show. If you've not watched it,
2 seasons on HBO Max, and a
HBO
third
Max.
season coming up in May.
Okay, great. All right, let's get into the episode today. This is Molly Shannon's second time hosting. Obviously, she was a longtime cast member.
Last time she hosted was back in 2007.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You know, the last time Molly Shannon hosted, Linkin Park was the musical guest.
Aw.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Chester B.
So
Which is actually the tattoo that Brad has on his back.
That's true.
All right.
It's not where you think, though.
All right, moving on. Trump Easter, cold open, written by Rosebud Baker, Mike DeCenzo, Allison Gates, James Austin Johnson, Streeter Seidel, and Ken Sublett.
Next.
Donald Trump, played by James Austin Johnson, interrupts a recreation of The Last Supper. Also features Mikey Day, Bowen Yang, Marcelo Hernandez, or Marcello if you're Brad, Molly Carney, and Andrew Dismukes. Did you not like this?
No. I was so upset because it's like...
Were you offended? Because,
I
again,
was so upset.
the sacrilege of it all.
Yeah. First of all, respect Jesus. Okay? No. It's like they really pulled the rug out from under me from what I was hoping and felt like was going to be a refreshing cold open, because I was like,
That
oh
wasn't-
wow, they're actually doing a sketch about the Last Supper, and like this is great. And then it turns into, seriously, one of the laziest cold opens they've done in a while. Like, it feels like they told James Austin Johnson, hey, just go out there and just riff for a few minutes as Trump. Obviously, it's written. Sure, like, give the writers credit, but like, it just felt like they needed to come up with a different way to frame it other than doing the usual pundit Fox News, whatever show. And they're like, well, let's throw a curveball, do something fun. The only thing that made like it a little bit redeeming in some way was the commentary that Trump did about Mikey Day holding still with his finger.
That was
the only thing that was
great.
funny.
I think, again, you look and see where the inspiration for these sketches are coming from. This is obviously a very online thing where a lot of conservatives, a lot of Republicans were essentially, and Republican candidates and political people were also saying, essentially Trump's arrest on Holy Week is akin to Jesus getting arrested as well, which is just preposterous, right?
You guys remember how Jesus used to grab women by the pussy, right?
Just preposterous. So I think they grabbed that, literally, and then they tried to make a sketch out of it. It's just not sketch worthy for me. Like you said, I thought there's potentially. I would love to see them write I would love to see a full Last Supper sketch. Yeah, have the characters.
I mean, they could have had Jesus pay Mary Magdalene $130,000.
There's a lot of humor in that potential scene.
Just the reaction from Molly Carney as Judas being called out, like, oh.
Yeah. There was enough there that
there really
you
was.
could have done that. I think there's enough, formerly Catholic writers, I'm sure, on the East Coast that would write that sketch very
probably
funny.
still guilty Catholic writers
exactly.
too.
So again, I agree with you. I didn't love it. Ben, did you like it or not?
No, I mean, I do like the idea that. I like the phrasing "pulled the rug out" because I was like, oh. Cool, and like, God damn it! Like immediately,
You got me. You got me.
But then I did really enjoy the back and forth between Mikey Day. Like Mikey Day was breaking, as he was, and that was great.
I did wonder if there was a little bit of James Austin Johnson milking it.
Oh, he was
once he realized.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and I liked that interplay for sure. But yeah, this had just what a great wasted setup.
Yeah,
and
it's just one of those things too. Like we always consistently have a problem with the political cold open stuff, and like SNL wasn't always like this. Like, sure, they became famous for doing it when there was like debates and stuff like that, and like it's their commentary on culture. But like there used to be a time when they would do cold opens that were just normal sketches.
When Brad was a boy.
But honestly, like it's like somebody told him like, oh, this is how you get ratings, and
I think what ruined it was the Bush Gore stuff, and then followed by the Palin stuff, like where they're like, "Oh, we should do this all the time."
Do you
and
think,
like,
though, it's been consistent since then? I think that since
Look at the
2016 Trump Hillary stuff,
but look
it's
at
gotten worse.
It has.
oh yeah,
of course.
for sure.
But they're still milking the shit out of it because if you look at the YouTube views 3 days later, the cold open is the one that has 2.6 million, and everything else has 800,000.
And it's I think what makes it more frustrating too is like these sketches are the reason that when people tune in to SNL for the first time in a while, and this is what they see, that's when they go back and they're like, yeah, SNL just isn't funny anymore. And it's like, well, fucking stick around,
well,
guys.
I agree. 1/20th of the show, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
You know, I would say this sketch defines what this whole episode for me. It was fine, right? Monologue by Molly Shannon, written by Mike DeCenzo, Steve Coren, and Jake Nordwin. Longtime former cast member Molly Shannon returning to Saturday Night Live as a host for the second time. She talks about her book, Hello, Molly, and shares some advice she received from her dad. It also features Kenan Thompson, Ego Nwodim, Chloe Feynman, Bowen Yang, Andrew Dismukes, and Molly Carney. Cameos by executive producer Lorne Michaels and Martin Short for some reason.
Yeah, just hanging around.
Shoving the cheeseburger all up
Oh
around
my
his
God.
face.
He
went for
was
it.
dedicated
Yeah,
to that.
I love that.
I feel like Martin Short never does anything half-assed.
He can't.
Yeah.
Right? He
The
just
man
does
is
it.
impossible when it comes to half.
He just destroyed
He really
that
straight up
cheeseburger.
did it. I was thinking to myself, oh, is he going to jump up with the roses and be on the show? But no, he's covered in cheeseburger. He can't. He can't be part of the rest of the sketch.
But he did.
So, am I the only one? I didn't really get it.
Well, I think did they recycle Santa's My Boyfriend music?
I don't think so. No, because
Re-listen to it.
No, that's a real song.
that's a real song.
Santa's My Boyfriend?
No, you'll be swell. You'll be great. That's a real song, Nate.
It just sounded like it was recycled. Maybe that's
Listen, musical boy.
Did you not know that's a real song?
I know there's a real song there. But
Now I'm.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we caught you.
Yeah.
I think you don't know a very famous song.
Yeah,
maybe not.
I am shocked.
I kind of am.
It just sounded very.
Did they
There's
recycle Santa's My
Haven't you
Boyfriend?
seen Airplane?
I have seen Airplane.
Ethel
Like,
Merman. She sings "You'll Be Swell, You'll
You
Be Great"
speak about Airplane as if it just came
as if
out.
it's a classic comedy.
I
that
haven't
has
seen
been
it
in
since,
there
like,
for years.
1980.
Hold on. I will jump in here. Not everybody watches Airplane like all the time. Brad.
every year, like you do.
Well, first of all, if you don't, you're doing yourself a disservice.
You are, and I agree with you.
And second of all, this is still
Ethel Merman.
This is
By the
still
way-
a very famous song.
It is.
If you want to hear more of this, listen to Go Flex Yourself, which is a very, very similar conversation we have all the time on
Anyway, so it is a very famous song. I maybe missed the boat on why they did it.
I think so. I don't know. For me, one of the things that Molly Shannon does, and I did appreciate about this episode, even though I will agree with you overall, the episode is just fine. Molly Shannon, I think, more often than not, has done sketches that are sometimes more sweet and charming than they are like ruckusly hilarious. She has
Sure.
an inherent sweetness to her. This to me was just like kind of a nice, sweet little fun monologue that I imagine she probably wanted to do. Just a nice little musical moment.
So
That's
just not funny.
yeah, just not honestly.
Yeah,
no,
no, just
I don't.
let's
I don't
not be
think. I don't think it was intended to be super hilarious. They had that thing where Lauren Michaels and Martin Short appeared, which was a big laugh. But yeah, I feel like this was intended to be just
Okay.
more
that's
more
fair.
charming.
There are
than
some
anything.
people that are just like born moms, kind of, and Molly Shannon has that kind of aura to
Yeah.
her where she just kind of has that.
Even when she was
personality. She's
when she
sweet,
was
she's-
younger, she
Yeah, that's
she
what I'm saying.
felt like an older woman.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when she was playing, I'm 50. Like I was like, oh, I mean, she's gonna age into that. She
Yeah.
will be that person.
Yeah.
And you know what? She did.
So I did listen to her book. She talks about her book in the monologue, and I didn't realize this. This happens with a lot of the SNL authors and stuff like that. I've read their biographies. So much pain comes from comedy, or so much comedy comes from pain, rather.
It's a give and take.
She was in a car wreck, and her mother and one of her siblings or two of her siblings and her aunt or cousin died
Oh
in
my
that car wreck,
God! What?
and she survived. And so, and her dad, obviously grieving, had to not even like little bit of tragedy.
How
right?
old was
Like,
she?
4 years old.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
That's
and so I think her
awful.
mom was 35. So I watched this episode because I listened to that book on my trip.
Oh, no,
and
He just
no,
started crying.
Well, and it was just like, actually, it was more of a new respect for Molly Shannon
Yeah.
because she is so filled with joy, it seems like, right? Her roles, when I see her on a screen, whether it's a TV show or a movie, I tend to just, I don't know, I feel a joy when I watch her. She just seems to be a joy-filled person.
Yeah.
And so much of her joy in her comedy, though, has had to go through the hard road of pain. But it's not unique, right? I mean, look at how many people in SNL have died, right?
Yeah.
And these guys have to tell those stories and live through that. So yeah, would you critique Molly Shannon, Ben? Think about that.
I mean, she was 4, so she doesn't even remember it. So she just had a normal childhood for her. So I mean, I get it.
Oh yeah, it's a normal childhood.
Everything's fine.
Growing up without your siblings and your mom.
You didn't even know you had one, though.
Dad, that's like, in huge like grief.
Yeah, so was my dad.
Just because you are the way you are.
Yeah, exactly.
I think your dad chose to be in grief.
Yeah, he did. I came out and he was like, God damn it.
Yeah, he made a lot of grief.
All right, moving on. Valets, written by Andrew Dismukes, Martin Hurley, John Higgins, Ben Marshall, and August White. A valet expert, played by Andrew Dismukes, trains a group of beginner valets, played by Molly Shannon, Kenan Thompson, and James Austin Johnson. It also features Heidi Gardner, Chloe Feynman, Punky Johnson, Sarah Sherman, Molly Carney, Michael Longfellow, and Devin Walker. What'd you guys think of this one? It was fine.
I actually really liked this sketch.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
So, one thing I will admit is that it is flawed because I do think that there is a bit of a pacing issue and timing.
Well, that jog's got to be real slow.
Actually, that's one of my favorite parts. Actually, is the consistency with which that they do the little jog back is hilarious. But there's a little bit of like just the timing is off just a little bit when it comes to their line delivery and that kind of thing. A couple flubs, but for me, I don't know. I liked the premise of just how they leaned into the absurdity immediately. Like James Austin Johnson coming up there and just immediately having the most inappropriate penis joke. Kenan Thompson walking over there and then pass. Immediately, like I just loved the escalation of just how bad they were at these attempts at doing a very simple thing. Not to mention the fact that the premise of how valets act is right on the fucking money.
See, I'm a hick from Indiana. I have never had a valet that I remember. Anyway, I have maybe at some events, that you just hand them their keys and they go. But I've never had this experience, and I wondered if it would be more funny if I had a connection to this world a little bit more.
Yeah. It's not that I've valeted a lot of cars, but it's not only
but you did have some kind of connection.
Yeah,
to
if you've ever experienced it too, that's also like how it's portrayed too, And so like just having that be like the 3 rules of being a valet. I laughed so hard at Kenan Thompson's second poor attempt.
When he was
I'm gonna steal your car, you black bitch! Devin Walker.
He died. He had to run. He probably wasn't supposed to run. He was laughing so hard he had to run.
You can hear him, the laugh burst from his lips.
Couldn't,
like it's like a raspberry that he did out of his mouth. He lost it.
I don't know if you guys saw, he got fired for that.
As well he should have.
But yeah, that moment cracked me up. So I actually really liked this sketch. I thought it was pretty good.
All right, Betty Boy, what did you think?
Not as high up on it as you are. The pacing really took me out of it.
Yeah.
Especially Molly Shannon. Like she's a sketch comedian. Like, I know she's out of practice, obviously, but man, her stilted stuff during it was just hard to watch. Sometimes it really took me out of it. But I will say, the jokes that they were doing were funny. The James Austin Johnson, the penis joke immediately was really off the wall. Like wow. And I can't remember which one like sprinted over very quickly. I think James Austin Johnson again like ran the first time, and he's like, "Oh, let's stick to the 3." It was just it's so funny that world was built immediately, and they were all trying so hard. I did respect that part of the comedy for sure.
One thing that is weird is sometimes I forget that James Austin Johnson is still a young man.
Right, because he's always Trump.
Yeah, and this was one where like his youth actually kind of came through in his character. But yeah, because not only is he always playing Trump, he's always playing like a father figure, or
he's 33. He's younger than all of us.
Yeah, by far, by the way.
Yeah, but like he feels this is the first time in a while where he felt like a lot younger than he normally does on stage.
Yeah, no, and honestly, this is not a terrible sketch whatsoever. It was one of the better ones of the night for sure.
But you didn't love it.
It was fine.
It was better than fine. It's okay, guys.
All right. Moving on. Bringing back a character from our final year of SNL. Netflix live promo, Jeannie Darcy. A Netflix trailer promotes a live comedy special for comedian Jeannie Darcy, played by Molly Shannon. Again, this was a character she did in her final year of SNL, though I didn't remember that, honestly.
I didn't either.
It also features
Ego
Nwodum, Punky Johnson, and Chloe Feynman. Let me say this: there was obviously a cultural reference there that I understood. The Netflix specials, right?
Sure.
I did want to ask you guys because you guys are, I would say somewhat famous stand-up comedians.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
You guys have done stand-up comedy, very locally kind of things. Have you ever done a joke that just
Yes.
that you thought was going to get a good laugh and
Yes.
it didn't?
Absolutely.
And I
Do
did
you
it-
remember it?
I do
remember?
I do.
Okay,
I
yeah.
was so confident when I was first starting out. It was like my third open mic, and I remember saying
Because your grandma laughs at you.
I
right?
was saying into the microphone. I said it in front of Whitty and like some of the other, like the owner and everything. I was like, "Oh, guys, you guys are gonna love this one." I set
What's the
myself
joke?
up.
What's the joke?
The joke was so bad. It was. I can't remember obviously verbatim, but in the news at the time, Disney wanted to have Cheech and Chong voice the Timon and Pumbaa. Maybe
No, it was
Or the-
Cheech and Chong was doing the
there were supposed to be two animated characters.
yeah, yeah.
they were gonna voice.
Yeah, I remember that.
But the
yeah.
Disney executives could not find Tommy Chong in the world. And so I said something along the lines of like, imagine being so high that you're so lost that not even fucking Disney can find you. And that's the premise of it was just a dumb little bit, right?
But is Disney like supposed to be really good at finding?
well, they're like a multinational, conglomerate corporation. If they want to find somebody, they're gonna be able to find you, right? But he was so high they couldn't find. That was the premise, right? But it's not a good joke.
There's something there, though.
There is. There's a little bit. There.
There's
But that's what you do at an open mic. But you don't say, "Oh, guys, you're gonna love this one." Let me just pat myself on the back right now.
Yeah, you don't Babe Ruth your
Wow.
jokes on the stand-up
Wow.
stage.
So when you're up there and you get no laugh, what do you do?
You feel shame, dark shame, and then you drive home and you grip the steering wheel a little too hard. And Brad goes, "You okay, buddy?" And you go, "I'm fine."
Do you remember any of your jokes that didn't
No,
work out?
I don't remember the ones because you don't. Yeah, you never.
I've seen both you guys in stand up, and you guys have done really funny bits. So I want to say that to our listeners.
when you're doing open mic, you're always trying stuff out, and so like you're so many stuff that like just bombs, and like, but like the best way to recover though is just to like admit it, and
Own
be
it.
like, just be
Yeah.
like, oh, that one didn't work.
Yeah,
Do you then slap the microphone on your thigh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I do not.
Yeah, and I shuffle around the stage a little bit, just like
Calling attention to a joke that's bombing is the only way to make
To save
better.
it, to
is.
just own
And
it.
honestly, it's pretty easy because the audience wants to give you it. They want to find something. So if you're like, "Yeah, that sucked,"
They know it
Oh,
didn't
there's
work
the
as
release.
well.
That's what I need. So it's not really hard to get out of that.
All right, let's go to reviewing this schedule or this pre-tape a little bit. What did you guys think of it?
All right, so
is the character funny to you?
So here's my problem. When Kyle Mooney does Bruce Chandling,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's a bad stand-up comedian. But there's other people that are the straight men that are reacting to it.
Yeah.
When you're doing something like this and it's just bad jokes and the audience is not reacting, and that's the joke, there's nothing here. I just didn't find how this was supposed to be funny.
Yeah, I don't really.
I rewatched this trying to find the humor in it.
Because you have to have a A B. You got to have A B. This is A and no B.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know what the gag is. Like, I guess there's supposed to be humor from her doing deadpan delivery of stuff that like isn't funny, maybe. But like I don't know, and like the commentary from the impressions of other famous comedians didn't really do anything to help with that. There was a point when I thought, oh, are they doing some kind of commentary on Chris Rock doing his live stand-up special on Netflix? Because they made some kind of joke about doing it live, and they're like, yeah, but then we'll do it live so that you can watch it later on streaming.
Which is what Netflix. Oh, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
But then like there was nothing that really continued that like thread. So,
But even then, like, I don't mind when streaming services do things live. Like it doesn't.
It was just
like there's not
such a-
comedy there. So
it
what?
was-
They did it live.
It was just so weird that they chose to just do the bits that don't go, and then they just keep doing it.
Let us qualify again. We are idiots. We don't know how to write sketches.
definitely.
However, it does seem like the commentary, the straight people should have probably been in those other, ego novodum kind of thing, being like, how the hell does this person have a comedy special kind of thing, right? Like
Do
like,
something other with. I don't
something
get it.
in there to counter to acknowledge to the audience that this is really bad, right? This is just really
I
not
just don't
funny.
see what the point was.
yeah, don't get me started.
Don't even get me started.
All right, pregnant coworker. Don't know who wrote that one. That's not been out yet. A woman's baby shower takes an unexpected turn. Also features Kenan Thompson, Heidi Gardner, Bowen Yang, Andrew Dismukes, and Sarah Sherman.
You like this one, Nate? Do you like farts?
A fart joke will always make me laugh.
Yeah, let me say this. We don't get enough jokes and sketch premises based around just a fart. So when we get them, we have to treasure them.
There's a little bit to it that I did like. I'm like, oh, this is so stupid, and I'm laughing. So
It was because it was such an extended setup.
yes.
For this really long fart.
I will say
And
the
then
first
even
fart
to do
got
the-
me. I was like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
And then to do the
Watching it
the
deflate?
stomach.
Yeah. And then and then the reinflation was so fast and sudden that it caught Heidi Gardner off guard that she laughed at
And
it.
then I was like, where are they going to go with this? And she said, guys, I've got an announcement to make.
Yeah.
No.
So there's
You're
sometimes-
definitely not pregnant again.
There are some sketches that, again, you read them and they've got enough humor in them, but they're not hilarious. For me, what got me on this one is just the performances. They were sketch comedians having fun in a sketch, right?
And
So that was fun for me.
Yeah. And I think that this shows like the strengths of Molly Shannon in her inherent sweetness, because what makes this so good is that she doesn't really seem like she's trying to be malicious or get away with anything. Like she really just is being very sweet about what's happening.
Not again.
It did kind of
4 times.
it did kind of feel like her era of SNL sketch. It did. Like it took me back a little bit. You could imagine Will Ferrell in there somewhere. You could imagine these kind of characters that, in a season, in an era that we really loved.
Mm-hmm.
It could be written back there as well. So
I have a weird Brad nitpick. And
it could nitpick.
it could be completely inaccurate though, because you can't really see very well. But
I don't think she was pregnant.
she specifically says that what she ordered was catfish sliders, which sounds awful and gross.
Did she say
You don't
slider?
like catfish?
Yeah, she says catfish sliders.
You don't like catfish?
No, I just don't like the idea of catfish sliders.
That wasn't a
just
catfish
catfish
slider
with
on that
bread.
plate.
Exactly,
It's catfish
because
with
they
bread.
looked at the plate and it
It was
looked
like, it was like a pita.
yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. And so I wondered if they did some kind of change to like the dialogue, because they're like, oh wait, catfish slider sounds grosser and funnier, but then they didn't have enough time to change out the prop or something like that, because it's definitely not catfish sliders that's on that plate.
I want to
That was
give
more
you
like a catfish gyro.
Yeah.
Gyro.
Yeah.
I'll give a plug again, because I do use this
Catfish
podcast
sliders?
for no
Oh,
for a lot of our research and stuff like this. There's another podcast called SNL Standby Line. They attend all of the dress rehearsals, and they talk about what was in the dress rehearsal compared to what was actually in the live show. And I try to listen to that every week as well, because then we can let you know. But it is always interesting how many jokes and how much setup, even the set changes in that hour and a half, or it's actually only a half hour, I think, between. But
Which is insane.
I mean, sometimes significantly, they get an audience in there. The audience doesn't laugh like they want it to, and they're committed to that sketch, and they're going to change things. So I'll listen to it, and I'll check in with you guys after that to see what that was. Again, that's the SNL Standby Line podcast. All right, moving on.
Someday we got to go to SNL, guys.
I would love to.
Oh man.
We got-
Lauren, help us out. Like we
Yeah.
would love to.
We just got to go to New York. We got to wait in line. We got to make a weekend of it.
Yeah.
Ben?
I'm good.
Mm.
I've got an arcade.
Mm.
I got to run. You know what we should do? We should go to New York. We should stand in line. We could camp out all night. It'd be like a
Can we do it
like a threesome.
warmer weather, but not real warm.
I can't.
That came out wrong.
Sorry, I can't. I got a funnel cake stand to run. And by that, I mean I'll be in charge of it and I'll eat it.
Okay.
Now, friends,
I love funnel cake.
and co-hosts, on this podcast, I've been very, very devoted in my affection and adoration of the Please Don't Destroy guys.
Yes.
I defend them even when the sketches or the pre-tapes aren't as good as I love
He's
them.
about to,
Is
he's about
this
to
a
say,
hot take?
I think he's about to say something bad about him.
This was the first Please Don't Destroy pre-tape that I didn't like.
You didn't like?
Please Don't Destroy, Molly Shannon,
Ooh.
2K23. Is that how you pronounce it?
2K23.
2K23. Written by Martin Herlihy, John Higgins, and Ben Marshall. Three guys show longtime former cast member Molly Shannon a video game about her life. There's a couple things I didn't like about this. It wasn't that funny. But I'm also not a video gamer. And so there was nothing to connect to me that made me like this sketch. I just didn't find it funny. And you were wrong, because one of you guys thought the last week's wasn't great, and it was. It was very good.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
When you were watching the pre-tape, Please Don't Destroy with Woody Harrelson.
It was awful. No, actually, that was one of the best things about that.
Yeah,
episode.
exactly. Thank you. You said this. You're connected to the Hitman underworld? Is that why you had something to connect to there?
Well, you could certainly connect to movies, things like that.
Nate, let me ask you something.
But I told you the first thing that I didn't like
Nate,
about it is there's not enough humor in it.
I think Brad was asking a question. Okay.
No,
Yes, Brad.
when you watch Lord of the Rings,
Yep.
do you remember the time that you had to take a ring to Mordor and get rid of it?
No,
And like
no.
it was a tumultuous trek with your friends, and some people died along the way. And
No. But I do remember being very loyal to friends like Samwise Gamgee. I remember axing a tree like the dwarf.
his name is Gimli.
It's Gimli. Even I know that.
Yeah, jeez. Nate, here's the thing.
Did you guys really like this?
Here, I will agree.
I didn't love this.
Yeah,
But I liked it. No, I didn't.
I didn't think it was funny.
No, I didn't think it was bad though.
yeah, no,
I laughed.
Yeah,
Do you think it's the worst of the season for them?
No, the Woody Harrelson one was
No,
okay.
no. You're so wrong.
No, it's okay. I think I'd have to go back and think about the quote unquote worst one. They
Do you
really
think it was
don't
the worst
do
one
bad
of the
work.
season for them?
no, I don't think it's the worst of the season.
What was funny about it? Explain to me the humor in it.
I mean, it's first of all, it's the maybe you don't get this because you don't play video games, but
No,
like
honestly, I just
it's the idea of such a mundane game as just living the life of somebody like Molly Shannon and
Do
try
people
and
play video games like this?
no. Like the closest that maybe it would come to this is like The Sims or something.
I was
like
gonna say,
that.
our friend Charlie plays truck driver simulator.
Farming simulator as well.
It's where you literally drive an 18-wheeler like hundreds of miles in real time.
But what?
Well, not entirely real time. It's
Well,
like
you know what I'm saying. Though.
Yeah, it's
But what else do you
listen,
do?
it's
Fight,
enough
like-
of a real time where you're like, I got back into that loading dock in real
Do
time.
you fight
That's
like
true.
zombies and stuff too?
no, it's just literally
No.
delivering shipments like you were a truck driver.
It's a real like Sims.
Why not
simulation.
become a truck driver?
Well, because it's like a whole licensing thing. But no, it's the idea of like having a game like this positioned in the same way that sports games are, where they need to come out each year. Like think about the fact that like there's been a Molly Shannon game every year since 1997. That's ridiculous.
That's fine. It's ridiculous. I get it.
I think it was
Just wasn't
that was
funny.
her SNL headshot.
Yeah.
by the way,
Yeah.
which was just a great little thing.
And so-
I get it. It's
Little Easter egg.
ridiculous. It's just not that funny.
See, for me, the framing of the sketch was an excuse for Molly Shannon to do that rap, which I thought was very funny. It had one of the two references to Mary Catherine
Yes.
Gallagher that came throughout
Yes.
the evening, since they didn't do a Mary
And
Catherine
I
Gallagher
like
sketch.
if you're gonna have an older cast member on, this is a great way to do their characters without doing their characters. I love that homage.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that I would have loved a Mary Catherine Gallagher sketch, much like I didn't love.
But you thought that she was going to do it, and I told you that she wasn't, and I said Sally O'Malley, and you told me that I was wrong. But
And clearly they made the right choice.
disagree. But no, so I liked the sketch, but for me, I have mixed feelings on it only because I knew this premise because Please Don't Destroy did this as one of their short minute-long sketches on Twitter before they were on SNL.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they before Please Don't Destroy was on SNL, they became pretty famous online for having tons of sketches, like little
They're really funny, by the way.
minute
Go
or
watch
2
them.
minute
Yep.
sketches go viral on Twitter and TikTok and whatnot.
It's like college students, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and one of them was playing a video game where you're Shailene Woodley, and it's a similar premise. They definitely expanded it here and turned it into something bigger. And because they have money, they were able to actually create a proper video game version of Molly Shannon and her career, as opposed to just throwing video game like overlays on top of footage of actual Shailene Woodley talk show appearances. But I enjoyed this sketch. I don't think it's one of their best. I definitely don't think it's their worst. But
it is one of their worst.
No. Because the thing is,
You know what the funniest thing?
even the
about
worst
this-
Please Don't Destroy
they
sketch.
don't have bad.
Yeah, even the
sketches.
worst Please Don't Destroy sketch is still
Above average.
Yeah, pretty funny and better than the worst SNL
defend,
sketches.
And I would agree with you on everyone but this one. This did not hit me. But let me say there was one really funny part about this. And it was the Jimmy Fallon one laughing. That got me.
because it's really him.
And it's also Jimmy Fallon laughs at everything.
Of course.
That isn't funny.
Oh, he made Jimmy laugh.
Yeah, I can't.
Like they
stand
were
it.
so
I
surprised
can't
that they
stand
made
it.
him laugh. That was a pretty good in joke.
So,
But also, I did like because video games are notorious for like using weird things as currency. Oh, turnips!
Yeah.
That was pretty good too.
all right, moving on. Let's go to The Play, written by Jimmy Fowley, Martin Hurley, John Higgins, Ben Marshall, and Sierra O'Sullivan. Let me say this. Those Please Don't Destroy guys building quite the SNL career, not only in creating these videos, and they don't have one every week, but they probably have, out of the 20 episodes, they probably have 15 of them. but also writing 1 to 2 other sketches an episode.
I mean, it is their full-time job, so
Well,
I would hope that they would get,
listen, I
spend
read
a few
the
hours
names,
a day.
I read the
sketches.
names of every sketch, that we do, and sometimes there are names we don't read until 3 episodes in or something. So it's pretty impressive. So I want to give them a shout out after I just tore their last sketch up.
I'm sure they appreciate
Yep.
it.
Things go off the rails as a man, played by Devin Walker, watches a play that his girlfriend, Heidi Gardner, wrote. Also features Devin Walker, Bowen Yang, Marcelo Hernandez, Michael Longfellow, Andrew Smooks, and Kenan Thompson, and Nick Jonas of the Jonas Brothers. I thought this was okay.
Yeah, it was solid.
Yeah.
This is another one where it kind of felt like a throwback sketch in a way, something that you would have seen during Molly Shannon's tenure on SNL. But yeah, I wasn't in love with this. I didn't hate it. I thought this was a sketch for me as an example of a perfectly fine sketch.
I liked the reveal of Kenan Thompson as Devin Walker's character.
Yeah.
At the end, playing him so nebbish and nerdy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was really great. The year of 1,000 men or whatever. Not necessarily a swing and a miss, but like a swing and a single. I feel like they could have done something more there to make it a little bit more outrageous.
Yeah.
Because that's a funny enough premise, but like they could have gone into maybe more detail, maybe make it a little bit more gross. I don't know. There was a good premise there. They just didn't do enough with it, I don't think.
It reminded me a little bit, not so much the premise, but just being in a theater, the theater sketches they do. Do you remember they've done, I think, a couple of them, the high school theater shows?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite sketches that they do are just,
those are so
great.
good because it was so hard to watch.
I say, was it really awkward? Our listeners might not know. Ben has a hard time watching very awkward things.
Yeah, I don't like
he
that
can't
at
watch
all.
The Office, these kind of things. Was it hard for you to watch?
I mean,
it's awkward for me as a theater person.
There
to
were
watch.
a few of those sketches where I was like, oh my God, this has got to end. Like,
Which I loved it. I loved every second of the awkwardness because theater.
and
can be
maybe when
awkward,
you murder
especially high school
cows,
theaters.
maybe you're the cow. Think about that the next time you smoke a pipe.
And then
What?
random music.
Yeah,
So-
those sketches were awesome.
So, but what it did though is it reminded me of that, and then I thought, well, this isn't very funny compared to it. Like that's such a better sketch, right?
That's
but no,
not
It's like
fair.
it's like that rule of if you're making a movie, don't reference a better movie in the middle of your movie.
All right, weekend update with Colin Jost and Michael Che. Weekend update anchors Colin Jost and Michael Che tackle the biggest news, like Ron DeSantis signing a bill that allows Florida residents to carry concealed guns without a permit, and a YouTuber getting shot in a mall after recording a prank video. I always get worried about prank videos because I'm like,
Good.
That was
It's joke of weekend update.
It was really good. Good.
Long-time listeners will know that every episode we go into this and ask about the bradometer. And the bradometer is a meter that Brad has about whether or not there was enough connection, emotional, spiritual, romantic
sometimes
connection
sexual.
between Colin Jost and Michael Che. Last week, if I remember right, you guys said it was the pinnacle of the bradometer.
I really wish that you were here last week for that because
Yeah.
it was the easiest
it
one to
it
do.
was really great. It was so funny.
So
I wish
if
I was
last
here
week
to-
was 100, Nate, what do you think?
This wasn't great. I would say it was fine. They don't do bad weekend updates, right? I'm gonna say 82%.
Yeah, I think there's still some residuals from last week, a little holdover.
Yeah.
And I could still tell
It's
the playfulness.
so hard though because once you have the really
I know.
really great one,
It's definitely nowhere near that, but there's enough residual. I think I agree with you. It's in the low 80s. Probably. I'm going to say exactly 82. just like
okay.
you said.
We're together on this.
That's more like around this mid 70s for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
All right.
it was really not great for you.
little
It's just because
Why didn't it work, Brad?
you're coming off such a big high, first of all, and so I wasn't expecting to see something like that, again necessarily, but like it just didn't feel like they were quite in tune with each other. They had a couple.
They were spent last
Yeah.
week. a
Yeah,
little
they-
bit. That's what I kind of felt like.
They had they had a couple little moments between each other like that. That was nice, but like it just didn't feel like it was the kind of thing where like they had anything really between them.
Hey,
this
but
time.
you know what, Nate? I'm going to give us credit. Okay, mid 70s to 82. Well, we're off by 7.
I've done a lot worse.
Yeah, I've done a lot worse. So I'm fine with that.
It's true.
I will say too with this last week because again I wasn't here. I was on vacation. Our listeners will know that. You probably won't know
Jeez, brag about it.
because again you didn't listen because I wasn't on. But It was almost one of those Weekend Update sections where I'm going to put in an area and say, this is what you go and watch Colin Jost and Michael Che do themselves. This is so good. It is career defining good. It's really hard to follow that up.
By this taping right now, I've probably watched that Weekend Update 10 times.
Yeah.
Just the back and forth, the April Fool's stuff. I mean, it was so good.
And again, I did listen to the other podcast, and they said that they didn't do that, obviously. And
of course.
Sure, yeah.
But they often do the joke swaps in the so those aren't actually as authentic as we think they are, the joke swaps. But this one was purely authentic. Colin Jost was actually uncomfortable,
utterly destroyed.
So let's get into a little bit about the Weekend Update. Any jokes you loved in there? Anything that
Michael Che
was good?
Good.
Yeah, that was my favorite one. Honestly, this one, to me, there weren't like a lot of standouts in this one.
Weaker.
Yeah, it was not the best edition of Weekend Update as far as the headline jokes are concerned. So it's
won a lot of great pictures.
Get your shine box.
We love those.
Okay, DeSantis kind of looked like Pesci giving that, but that's almost a compliment.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
All right, Jafar on Ron DeSantis attack on Disney, written by Alex English, Will Steven, and Bowen Yang. Jafar, played by Bowen Yang, Stop Story Weekend Update to discuss Ron DeSantis stepping up his attacks on Disney. You'd think a governor would realize that the thing that employs half of your state isn't the thing to attack. Yet again, Ron DeSantis does. What did you think of Bowen Yang's Jafar?
I mean, it's the perfect Disney villain for him to play because Jafar is by far the gayest straight Disney villain there is. But no, he just has the perfect.
Gaston is kind of gay.
No, Gaston is a man. It's LeFou that is gay. LeFou wants to get up in Gaston's guts.
By the way, you guys. Whoa! By the way, there was the LeFou joke last week.
Yeah.
You guys didn't spend enough time on. That was a brilliant joke.
It was a good joke.
It was a great joke.
No,
but it's
Jafar.
Yeah, Bowen Yang is great. He has the perfect voice, and he gave Jafar the right inflection and everything. Also, there's something about it's just seeing how big the shoulders are for Jafar and everything. So yeah, this was pretty funny. I wasn't rolling over and laughing intensely about it, but it was a solid bit for sure.
And I watched SNL to learn, and I learned that Ron DeSantis got married at Disney.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
That was
absolutely
incredible.
That is enough.
True.
That alone should be enough to knock him out of the presidential race.
That is
because seriously,
so dumb.
Fuck you, man.
Are you kidding me? And right at the end of his bit, he was like, "Yeah, no, it was a great wedding at the Grand Floridian Hotel, which is a Florida hotel right there. I know that hotel. I've stayed at that hotel."
And that was Bowen Yang, by the way. That was not Jafar.
Oh yeah. It was a great wedding. It was at the Grand Floridian. I loved it. Oh, what a dick.
All right, moving on. LSU's Angel Reese on her White House invitation. Angel Reese, played by Punky Johnson, stops by Weekend Update to discuss being invited to the White House after LSU's win over Iowa in the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. I don't know if you guys have been following it, but obviously LSU beat Iowa. The vice president's, the First Lady, Jill Biden, said that she would love, because it was such a good game, both teams did really well. She would love to invite both teams. It was viewed as kind of a racial statement because obviously Iowa versus LSU.
Dumbest fucking thing she could have done.
And so
name me another time that the second place team got to go to the White House. Yeah. That's not how it fucking works.
So
you have a black team that wins and you want to invite the white team too. What? Even if you didn't mean it, look at the optics. How fucking stupid are you?
It's called the White House.
So Angel
it really
Reese,
upset me. That's fucking
Angel
bullshit.
Reese has been in the headlines a lot again because, again, she said, I'd just rather go to the Obamas instead of the Bidens. What do you guys think of this? Obviously, it's a very culturally relevant kind of commentary.
You're going to see this
right now,
replayed in a year, and you're going to be like, what? I don't understand what this is.
It felt kind of like that. But
sure.
Yeah, this one felt like one of those things that's almost too timely and like really tapped into that specific moment. I don't even know if she's doing a good impression of this player or not. It
was fine. I mean, it's not great, but
I appreciate.
I don't think you had to do a good impression because nobody knows really what.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate how Punky Johnson played this. Just with that full sass and attitude, which is amusing a little bit in itself, but just the premise for me, the bit wasn't worthy of the desk.
And let me say too, kudos to Punky Johnson, because last year we were a little bit more critical of her finding her role on SNL, because it felt like she was always on the outside, right? Even when she got some chances,
she's getting stuff to do this year.
She's
and
getting
making
more of
the
an
most
identity.
Yeah,
She's
for sure.
she's feeling more comfortable, especially behind this desk, these kind of things. And so
Who would have
kudos to
thought
her.
that the Weekend Update desk is where she would have kind of come out of her shell, though? That's great.
Yep.
When they did the fake ads, right? Because now college players can make money off their name and likeness.
Yeah, and
So did the degree. Y'all stink. And then what was the garden gnome one? Because I laughed really hard.
Oh yeah, I
And it's like garden gnomes, and it's something is like, wait, is this? Because I think the funny part was it was either Che was like, wait, is this an ad for garden gnomes? I really laughed at that.
Yeah, it was okay.
all right, the final
I
weekend,
really laughed at that.
Good.
the final weekend update bit. Co-worker who's extremely busy doing seemingly nothing on returning to the office. Written by Heidi Gardner, Allison Gates, and Sierra O'Sullivan. A co-worker who's extremely busy doing seemingly nothing. Heidi Gardner stops our weekend update to discuss Americans returning to the office in person. This is Heidi Gardner doing Heidi Gardner, and I loved it. Actually, I really actually did love this. I don't know why. I actually know some people like this that are busy all the time.
It's
and
me.
you're like,
He's talking to me.
what are you doing all the time? I asked them to watch different shows. I asked them to watch different movies.
I am
And,
just
I
so
can't-
busy.
I'm
My
just so
salad
busy.
phone rings off
And then
the hook.
literally in the next conversation, they'll talk about they watched the Fast and Furious franchise all in one weekend. And so, I know people just like this that pretend to be very, 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 very busy.
Just don't quit locking eyes with me.
I'm
You're
not
locking
naming
eyes.
names. I'm not naming names. I'm just saying I've met people through this podcast, and
Oh my God,
that-
Brett, say something.
He's saying everything.
Oh, you're such a dick. No, I also really like this.
thought it
liked
was funny. Yeah.
I liked it because of the escalation. She starts throwing the salad, the phone in the salad. I mean, it just got so silly that I really enjoyed it.
It was
Brad?
Heidi Gardner being Heidi Gardner. Like she's done this before, but
That's I think part of my thing is like we've seen her do some kind of variation of this character before. I didn't really like this very much. To me, it like I felt like I would have liked to have seen this character in an actual sketch, maybe. But like for me, like, it almost felt like it was like a variation on Kathy comics without being like anything like Andy Samberg's take on Kathy comics.
I forgot about that.
But like yeah, but like it just felt like that kind of like character, like from a workplace comic strip, brought to life in a very exaggerated caricature kind of way. And sometimes caricatures really work for me, but like this one, I was just like, I don't need this.
Well, we disagree. I thought it was fine. Drug commercial. Things go off the rails on the set for a new feminine medication commercial with Molly Shannon, Kenan Thompson, Ego Nwodim, Andrew DeSmukes, and Molly Carney. What was this called again?
The JJ at the end, but what was it during it? Virginia?
Virginia is a state.
No, Ben, what was it called?
I honestly can't remember now.
What was it called, Ben? Or
I
Brad?
don't remember.
I don't either. But-
Should we look at Hups?
No, I just want.
Verona?
I kind of just want Ben to keep on trying.
Vaginal?
Vanina? No.
No, I don't remember what
Anyway,
it's called. But what do you think of the?
so this is too all over the place for me.
Really?
It was just there was too much going on. They had is the sketch about her and the backup dancers? Is it about Kenan? Is it about like what is it? What was there were funny moments, but this was too busy for me. There was too much going on.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. It felt like they were like mixing your standard behind the scenes commercial chaos with like the Beyonce backup dancers, that like kind of thing, and then like
Because like you can't
the overbearing person on set.
You build the universe that you're in, even in a sketch. And so in this universe, I'm led to believe that was all scripted, what Kenan Thompson was supposed to be saying, but yet it was so silly, and then they were questioning it during it, but then the director wasn't yelling cut. Like none of that would happen, right? So I just need to know what we're doing here. That's all.
Just a little bit too much for you, huh?
A little bit too much for me.
Is it because it
did you
was
like
a? There was enough in there. Actually,
I laughed at
it was
Kenan
a
more
sketch
than
that
anything.
I watched a second time and laughed more the second time in. Like it was maybe because in the first time I didn't know where it was going, like you said, and it kind of just takes you into different places. So I kind of
I didn't out and out hate it. I just thought it was so busy and there's so much going on. But I
There
did
is.
like there were some solid jokes in there, especially with Kenan's delivery and what he was changing the words to be. And then I actually did like.
You think it would have been better as a pre-tape?
I don't know. I do know that
Because
normally
a
when
lot
they,
of times these medication ones they do as pre-shows.
sure, when they ended
but not if they break the commercial.
yeah, it would just be a full on.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, the end bumper where it was just vagina, whatever, and it said like all the buzz, no hangover. So it clearly was just like that's how they chose to end it. It really was a commercial for basically alcohol that doesn't give you a hangover,
Yeah.
and I did like that.
All right.
You would like that.
Moving on, bringing back an old favorite, Sally O'Malley, Jonas Brothers. The Jonas Brothers decide to switch things up by hiring Sally O'Malley, played by Molly Shannon, one of her titular characters. Did you like that word, titular? Color for
I don't think you're using that word right.
titular, right? One of the titular characters of her career. Is that right? No.
No.
Titular.
Titular means like the name is the title.
Well, yeah, Sally O'Malley's a sketch, and it's the titular character. Sally
Yeah,
O'Malley.
but it's.
I just kind of wanted to use that word. I read it in a book that long ago.
I think maybe just trademark.
No, that's
Trademark
not fun.
characters.
Trademark. It doesn't say titular.
But you should like for example, John Wick is titular.
But you're
He's
using
the-
it kind of like a noun. Like it's not just titular.
One of the
Like,
titular character.
the
is an
title.
adjective.
Yeah, the character. The title of the movie is
John
the
Wick,
titular
so
role.
Oh.
He's the
Okay.
titular character.
Yeah.
so you can't use titular as like defining.
So if it was
No.
if it was the Sally O'Malley movie,
Titular literally means that like it is
Comes from
of,
the title.
of the title. Yeah.
Which makes sense because title is in 90% of the word. Or like,
so yes, in the Sally O'Malley movie, she would be playing the
Yeah.
titular
If
character.
it was called Sally
Superstar.
O'Alley the movie.
Superstar. That would be the titular.
no,
No,
because
it's
her
not
name
called,
is Superstar.
Yeah, it's not called Mary Catherine Gallagher.
What about Keanu, the film? Is the titular character is a
Kitten.
kitten?
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct. The late,
You're so happy right now. This is the most off the rails SNL podcast we've done in a while, and I'm here for it, man.
the ladies' man, Tim Meadows'
Is
titular
the
character.
Titular character.
But doesn't the ladies' man have an actual name?
Yes, but the ladies' man is the name of his character and the show.
But is
Ooh, it's a lady.
No one calls him Leon Phelps. Everyone calls him the ladies' man.
that really his name?
Yeah.
Leon Phelps. Yeah.
I am so impressed that you know that because I can't even remember like any name. So good for you.
You
All right.
can't tell me that those were the three penises of the Jonas Brothers. They were too big.
No, of course not.
How do you know? They've all like
Those are some
swung up.
impressive
They've all
cod
done
pieces.
pretty well for themselves.
No, they were clearly all wearing the same exaggerated cod pieces.
I don't know.
No, you don't know that.
However,
Stop it.
I do think Molly Shannon's camel toe was genuine.
I mean, that made me laugh.
It made Chloe Feynman laugh.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I don't think they were expecting it to be that pronounced.
No. It was very titular.
So, Molly Shannon is not 50 anymore. What did we discover? She's like
She's
57 or
57.
58 or
Yeah, yeah. And the
So-
last time she played, the first time she played Sally O'Malley, she was 35, I think.
Was she? I mean, again, not to say she's older, but she was a little bit older, right? Some of the times we see these guys, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, they come to the show. Even some of the guys we
In
have
their
on
early
the cast
20s.
now, and they're 21, 22, 23. Was she in her 30s when she joined the cast?
Yeah.
You know?
So the first Sally O'Malley, I looked this up, happened in 1999, and at the time she was 35.
Which is right about when she joined the show, right?
I think she had joined just
97, maybe.
yeah,
98?
just before that because Night of the Roxbury came out in 98 and Superstar came out in 99. So she'd been on for a few years at that point.
All right. So, what did you guys think of this? Did you like this kind of turn of this? This.
It's a weird
Titular
premise
character.
to bring her in. I don't know what that's all about, but honestly, they wanted to have the Jonas Brothers. They wanted to have her playing Sally O'Malley. I was very shocked at the camel toe, and it really did make me laugh. But that's the only thing
It's
I
a little
found
odd
really
too because the Jonas
funny
Brothers
about
aren't known for dancing, right? So like
It was just very strange.
No, but they're pop stars.
I liked it.
They have, I'm sure they have like moves they do on stage.
they have like
and
background dancers. But
I'm
they don't do like.
They're a boy band though, and they start off as a boy
They're
band.
not a boy band, are they?
They are a band comprised of boys.
Oh, okay, you're going to use that as the definition.
Oh,
so is Foo Fighters.
I'm sorry.
So is Foo Fighters. They're a boy band.
The titular band, the Jonas Brothers. No, I think earlier on they did do some of that choreographed stuff.
I agree. I think early on.
but now they're not so much known for that.
Cool.
What'd you think of the sketch?
I like this. Sally O'Malley for me is one of those characters where she's not like ruckusly hilarious, but Molly Shannon is so dedicated
Yep.
to the character, and it's such a great physical performance that I can't help but love it. And the camel toe thing did crack me up. Just the way that she stretches her body, even still at 58, like she has a great physical presence. And so I had fun with it. It was fun seeing the Jonas Brothers decked out in the red jumpsuits. You know, it was enjoyable.
I loved when she was walking over and hiking them up.
Yeah.
Oh man, that really did make me
Yeah.
laugh. Because like, where is she? Oh, this is gonna get aggressive. That was
Yeah,
good.
so yeah, it was. I liked it. I don't think it was one of the funniest sketches I've ever seen, but I enjoyed it.
All right, moving on. CNN app, CNN commercial. A commercial advertises an app where reporters detail Trump's indictment and arrest in a new way with Molly Shannon, Heidi Gardner, Andrew Dismukes, Bowen Yang, Chloe Feynman, Michael Longfellow, Devin Walker, Sarah Sherman, James Austin Johnson, and Keena Thompson, and Ego Nwodum as the announcer. Also, Ego Nwodum hits her 300th sketch in this one. This would have been funny a year and a half to 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. This was not funny to me at all, actually.
Yeah,
this was not good.
It was boring.
It was boring, and this is not, I feel like, culturally where we're at anymore. I think most people are not thinking that Donald Trump's going to get any kind of punishment because, again, he just doesn't. I think most people that I know, again, I'm very politically involved. I've got a lot of friends that are politically involved,
Whoa.
Republican, Democrat. No, I'm just, like, seriously, I think most people just don't care anymore. I don't think anybody's stressed about whether Donald Trump will do prison time anymore.
Don't get me wrong.
Maybe on the East Coast or the West Coast, maybe very, like, but I just think most people don't. It just seemed very 2019 for me.
Here's the thing. I want to make it clear. I care to the extent that I want to see this man in jail and like in a jumpsuit and like just looking terrible.
Those are
hopefully on the verge of
those
death.
are kind things compared to what you send us in our text thread.
We're all actually on government watch lists now.
I want to watch this man slowly die. But no, yeah, this was a boring sketch to me, and also it feels like it kind of missed the thing too, where like they could have done this years ago when like cereal was popular. You know, like it feels like it's
that's a good point.
It's running on the coattails of like how podcasts rose in popularity around that time.
It's also not. They could have done it about ASMR when that first hit.
Yeah,
because that's kind of what this was too.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't really understand. And I'm not a writer, obviously, so I'm not going to shit all over this thing because I don't really know what the intention was. All I know is I didn't find it that funny.
Yeah.
I think I would have probably 3 years ago. I think I would have found it funnier. I don't know if it had ever been great because it wasn't the best of sketches. I think.
Yeah, and even the impersonations.
I think
weren't that
during
good either.
for instance, during the Mueller investigation, right? Like when everyone's going, "Oh wow," you get these little bits and pieces that are coming out that.
Oh yeah, that was an investigation.
Maybe Donald Trump did these things, right? And so now I think we're all cynical. No, nobody's stressed out about it because we're all just cynical. Yeah. Like it's not going to happen, right? Not that you don't want it to happen, like Brad said. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think we've all moved on because the world just sucks.
Yeah. Trump going to jail is one of the like tamest things I want to happen to him.
Do you remember when they killed Osama bin Laden like years later?
Oh yeah.
And it was like, oh cool, that's done.
Yeah.
And so if Trump goes to jail, I'm like, oh cool, that's done.
Yeah.
Like,
You kind of moved on.
Yeah, I had to go live my life.
Like I'm worried about like more shootings. Today when we're recording this, there was a big shooting in Louisville. There's like all these things that are happening. Like Donald Trump does not take as much of my brain space as people think. So it's ironic that again SNL does use him so much as a foil for comedy. And I know
and maybe because it's in New York and he's a New York based cartoon villain basically at this point.
Yeah.
Like, is that why?
I think there's part of it. I think there is. He's very relevant to New York, right? I mean, Manhattan was where the DA comes from. But it's just...
Even if this was inspired by like their tireless coverage of like him flying from Florida to New York and them like showing the plane landing, stuff like that. Like I feel like there's like a better sketch premise there of like following beat by beat like the most mundane things that he's doing. But even then, it's not like a great sketch premise.
I thought maybe the point is to kind of both sidesism a little bit that there's all these people still worried about Donald Trump going to prison and it's there's still
what I wanted to see
and I just again didn't
I want to see more flowers getting pissed on. by Sarah Sherman. Okay, I just want to see some weird shit.
No.
I don't need.
I thought I'd get that one. For a
Yeah, I
second.
thought we were going into like a Heidi Gardner fetish.
No, we're not.
Oh,
we're
come
not,
on.
We're not talking about porn stuff. I know we talked about ASMR.
I just,
but
like, I don't need this. I need more sketch.
Yeah.
I need more fun shit.
silliness.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep. All right, that's the show. At the end of each show, we talk about our MVP and the sketch of the night. Let's do sketch of the night first. Brad, what would you say was your sketch of the night?
For me, it's Valets. That was my favorite
Really?
the other night. Yeah, I really liked Valets in spite of its shortcomings.
All right, what about you, Benny?
I mean, it was tough because I didn't really love anything. But
Yeah, I agree.
probably the pregnant baby shower.
That's what I'm going.
That was my
Pregnant
second favorite.
coworker was
That was my
my
second
favorite as
favorite
well. The physical comedy of it was enough for me,
Yeah.
and just like I said, it was sketch comics having fun doing sketch comedy. Which again, that was because there wasn't a lot to love in this episode. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was just fine. Who'd you say was the MVP? I had a really, really hard time with this. Ben, we'll start with you this time.
I think that I gotta go with. I'm gonna go Heidi Gardner.
No, it's Keenan.
I went with Heidi Gardner as well, but I had a hard time. I changed it from Andrew Smukes to James Austin Johnson to Heidi
wow.
Gardner. I had a hard time because there was no standout cast member in this one. There was cast members that did their job well. They did fine. I like Heidi Gardner in Weekend Update better than you did. So
Yeah.
Brad. So I think I put her up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you choose Keenan?
He made me laugh the most. He especially that moment, like his two standout moments in the valet sketch alone were like enough for me to love it. But he was, what was the sketch where he played the director too? That was he was funny in that role as well.
The director.
It was the Sally O'Malley sketch where he was.
Gotcha.
That was it, because I do agree with you. This wasn't really an episode where there was like a clear standout cast member either, because it was just kind of a middle of the road kind of show.
A lot of sketches had a lot of people.
Yeah,
in.
they really did.
I'm going to say that this episode as a whole, I'm going to compare a little bit to the Will Forte episode where it was fine, but I went in really
I think
wanting
that's the problem.
fireworks.
Is that, man, any old
Because
cast member,
the-
you're hoping
these are
bombs.
For me, these are beloved cast members. These are people that helped define anyway.
Yeah.
I'd already been watching for probably 10 years maybe or so, but maybe 5 or 6 years closely.
Some of it's probably
But-
our fault too, though, for putting that pressure.
It
on
is.
them.
It totally is our fault.
No.
But you watch it because you want that same connection to SNL that you had as a 14 or 15 or 16-year-old. And I didn't get it. Just like I didn't for Will
now
Forte.
I don't want Bill Hader to host. No more Vanessa Bayer for Ben.
It is hard, right? Because again, you have such high, because the things that we think of when we think of these past cast members are all of the things that we love about
Exactly.
them. We don't think about the sketches, right? That they probably didn't do all that well in, right? But
Yeah.
so I thought it was an okay episode. It was fine. You guys agree?
Yeah, no, there was literally my thing when I thought about it. I was like, yeah, this was a fine episode. You know,
I don't know. It didn't do a lot for me. It was. I don't know that it was even fine. I think it was just there.
You think it was bad?
I do think that it was below average.
Or you would just, how politicians, they can vote yay or nay or present. You would just say it's a present episode.
I'd say nay then. I mean, it was. If I had to say, I mean, this is okay. If you're comparing this to all episodes of this season, it is in the lower half.
Here's what I would say is, I didn't also think that there was a ton of bad sketches. There were just.
Yeah, there were.
Which one was really, really, really bad, do you think?
I mean, the Netflix special was fucking terrible.
I don't think terrible.
It was
just wasn't
terrible.
great.
There was
It
not.
wasn't-
No, I didn't even smile once.
the CNN sketch was pretty bad.
That was bad. That
So
was
there's two.
yeah. I don't know. I didn't think it was. Would you say this was worse than Woody Harrelson?
No,
No, it's gonna be hard to top that.
not worse than Travis Kelce. That's for fucking sure.
Well, hey,
No, that is
you
not
know,
true.
no.
That is not true.
Moving on. I'm not doing this, Nate.
How would you rate so far? What do we have? Maybe 3-4 episodes left in the season. You think it's been a pretty strong season?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it has been. I think it's been a pretty
yeah.
good-
Overall, I think it's been pretty good.
What I've loved about this season is we've also seen some of the new characters. Really, I say new in the last year or 2 or 3. James
cast
Austin
members?
Johnson,
Yeah.
cast members really find an identity. Punky Johnson, we talked about that earlier, and I really love that because we're seeing. If you remember right, the headlines at the beginning of the season was half of the cast left.
Yeah.
right.
It's a rebuilding year, and it's like, well, they rebuilt pretty fucking fast.
Yeah.
It's
Thanks
been
to
a solid
Sarah
season.
Sherman and Marcelo Hernandez and
Michael Longfellow, Molly Carney.
They're just crushing it.
No, yeah, good new cast members. The one thing I do think that has been lacking a little bit this year, and I kind of miss, is it does feel like Saturday Night Live, and this could be just a product of the time that we live in too, but like it doesn't seem like they've been able to land a lot of the big stars of today, like
really, really big A-listers.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like are they going to get Chris Pratt to host SNL because of Mario Brothers and because of Guardians of the Galaxy coming up?
He's gonna have two of the probably highest grossing films.
Yeah,
of the year.
you know, exactly. You know, and so like I feel
Has
like
he ever done SNL?
Yeah, he did SNL before. But yeah, I just wonder if like I don't know.
Are we seeing a slight decline in are people passing? You know?
Yeah, that's the thing is I wonder, are they trying to get people and they're not able to? You know, is it the thing where like they don't want to be with this cast because there have been a big shift and maybe they're not familiar with the people who are on it and they're waiting to see, you know, how
is Chris Pratt anti-trans?
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Chris Pratt hasn't been on since 2014, so it'd be
when
a
the
good
first
person-
Guardians of the Galaxy came out. So
it'd be a good one to bring back. But you know,
Maybe Chloe
it's
Fineman
interesting
can get
because
Tom Cruise.
we were talking about this before the podcast,
Yeah.
just in our listenership and stuff like that. And the episodes for us that do the best are some of the ones that probably my dad wouldn't. Jenna Ortega, these kind of people.
who's that?
You know, exactly. Some of these actors that
It's
aren't-
Wednesday, Dad. No, it's Saturday.
Woody Harrelson, people that are well known to maybe an older generation, don't do all that well.
Ethel Merman.
It's the second Ethel Merman that you've brought up. I
You'll
think
be
it's
swell. You'll be great. As long as your name isn't Nate.
Gonna do sketch comedy real late.
Travis Kelce, right, is one of the biggest athletes in the world right
Yes.
now.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna say assholes.
He's not.
You don't even know him. That's the
No. I'm
I want to talk about Travis Kelce.
No.
I don't know him and I don't want to.
No. So we've got
Yeah,
next
who's
week.
next? Who's next week?
Next week is a lovely lady by the name of Ana de Armas.
Is it true that you might have a crush on her?
No comment, but yes.
And then we've got what, 3 episodes after that?
Yeah, probably
block of three, I think.
probably 3 episodes for like the end of
They've
April.
not announced it yet.
End of
but-
April into May, probably.
So, you know,
Yeah,
who
you
are
think-
we? Who are we?
I would bet on them getting Chris Pratt. Honestly,
Do you think?
I feel like it's been long enough since he's done it, and that like
He's gonna have 2 of the highest grossing movies at the time.
yeah, I feel
right?
like I don't know how you don't get him after Super Mario Brothers and with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Because
coming
Super
out.
Mario Brothers ratings or the reviews haven't been tremendous.
Yeah.
But the box
but
office
its
is
box office
enormous.
is doing great. right?
Potentially more likely if Chris Pratt is too busy is maybe getting Dave Bautista because
That'd be fun.
Not only is he also in Guardians, but he did had Knock at the Cabin, so he's also had a
Well,
good
and also
year.
he really does want to get out there and say I'm an actor.
Yeah.
I do more than just being a tough guy.
yeah, and he's
SNL would let
he's
him-
hosted SNL before, hasn't he? I thought he did.
Dave Bautista.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I thought they had him do it around the time Blade Runner 2049 came out.
No, he
No?
is not. He is not.
Oh, I thought he did. Well, that would be great. I think if they could get Dave Bautista, and
Do you think it would be a big enough poll? Do you think Dave Bautista has enough fans that would be interested?
I
in
mean,
that?
he was a very famous wrestler, and I feel like his profile as an actor has only grown since Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I mean, you got Drax on the show.
yeah,
basically.
I feel like if you have some of the other people who have hosted
Ooh,
earlier
do you
this
think
year,
we'll get
then-
anybody from the Fast and the Furious franchise?
Does anybody-
I don't know who you would get anymore. I feel like Vin Diesel can't do it.
That is so shitty. I don't know why that comes across. Oh no, Vin Diesel would be fucking terrible.
Want to know how I bet they get?
That was just so weirdly off-putting. Like, well, Vin Diesel just couldn't do it. Jesus.
I'm sorry, I've never seen him read a book.
Do you think either one of these two, Halle Bailey or Melissa McCarthy?
Her name's Halle Berry.
I could see them.
Halle Bailey.
It's not. It's Halle Bailey. I could see them getting Melissa McCarthy back. That would be fun.
That's in May
Little
coming out. Little
Mermaid,
Mermaid's
yeah.
coming out, so I can see them.
What else? What else is happening this summer?
What is this? What's in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, because sometimes in those last episodes they pull people that are having
Summer movies,
stuff that
yeah.
are coming out in the summer. Again, listen to Go Flix Yourself. We'll talk a little bit more about those in that. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, in May,
Who are the people in Elemental?
No one famous. They're not going to get anybody from that.
Maybe
Oh.
Kristen Wiig.
I'm trying to.
I don't know. I mean, they could get Bill Hader back. Barry season 4.
Man, I really that's on my bucket list to have him host. That would be amazing.
He already did host.
No, he did. Wait, when's the last time he hosted?
He hosted. What was it?
I thought he had never hosted.
No, he's hosted before,
Oh wow,
right?
are you sure?
I'm not wrong about that, am I?
No, Bill Hader has never hosted.
Really?
Yeah.
What am I thinking
Dude,
of then? Wow.
will you stop ruining my life?
Gosh.
So
Dave Bautista hosted and Bill Hader hosted.
a couple of the movies coming out in June, just to kind of give you.
Well, get Bill Hader to host, guys. What are you doing? Come on. What are we waiting for here?
Thank you.
The final season of Barry.
That's what I'm saying.
Jeez. He's a former cast member.
I just
What
said
do
a
you want,
lot
Lauren?
about this.
What do you want from him? What do you want? All right, so movies coming out in June: The Flash.
Let's get Ezra Miller.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Harrison Ford.
I would love to see Harrison Ford.
Oh, he would never.
Oh my God!
In a billion
grumpy
years.
old SNL with Harrison Ford. Yes,
No,
please.
it would be the worst.
I mean, Harrison
episode of
Ford
all
also
time.
has Shrinking, which again,
Yes.
Ben has not watched the whole thing,
Then
but
just get Jason Segel to host,
That would be fun.
that would be fun.
Let Jason Segel and Harrison Ford do it.
co-host.
Yes.
Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Is anybody who's in that?
You could get Anthony Ramos. He would be. I mean, he's kind of in that position where he's a young star.
Probably has a pretty significant Hamilton base
Yeah.
as well that love him. Extraction 2 is coming out.
Hey, you get Chris Hemsworth
Get
back.
Chris
Yeah.
Hemsworth. I love Hemsworth.
That sexy chiseled body up on that stage.
Whoa.
Sorry, I love me some Chris Hemsworth.
Me too.
Like the third or fourth time I've
Yeah.
referenced Go Fix Yourself. I've asked Brad who is the most beautiful person he's ever interviewed, man or woman, and you said who?
Chris Hemsworth.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Because listen, I went to Comic-Con in Chicago. I met Chris Evans, and he's fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Humble Ben.
Chris Hemsworth. Oh, I paid $250 to it. It's not like we fucking hung out.
So are you like friends? Did you get a cell
Oh
phone?
yeah, in the literal 12-second interaction where it was
By the
like,
way,
"Hi guys, click,
Listeners
move
need
on."
to look at this picture. It's one of my favorite
Oh
pictures.
God,
It's-
I am, ladies and gentlemen.
who stands like
I
that?
know that you've never seen me before. I am a giant compared to Chris Evans.
And Ben doesn't know where to put his arms.
I don't ever know how to stand
and you're
in
kind
photos.
of a little bit flexing.
I'm not though. I swear to God, I wasn't sucking in my gut. I wasn't doing anything.
I know, but it
I was
kind of
just
looks like
standing.
you're awkwardly
I
like
know.
I
It's,
don't.
it's because he can't put his arms down. It's like he's wearing a bunch of coats, like in a Christmas
Because-
story.
No, what it looks like is for 5 minutes before the picture, you kept on saying, "How should I stand? How should I stand?" In my head,
Like
Well, he
this?
put his
Like-
arm
like-
around
like
me.
this.
He put his arm around me, and so I was trying to like put my arm to the side, but I couldn't really put it in my pocket. I don't know.
And yet Bailey, like a natural, is there just with her arm around Chris
girlfriend
Evans.
Bailey looks
yeah,
great.
Just knows
like,
how to talk to people. and-
lovingly looking into Chris Evans' eyes.
I should have put my arm around him.
yeah, why wouldn't you?
Because I just didn't want to touch him. I
It
I
looked
didn't
like
think-
you don't like him. Is what it looked
Well,
like.
I didn't want to. I didn't. People don't like to get touched like that. You know.
No, he was touching you.
I know.
You missed your chance to touch Captain America.
He touched me.
On that note. All right. Well, we'll be back next week again. Ana de Armas. You looking forward to that episode? Other than obviously crushes, but like
I will say just
Are
real
you
quick.
nervous?
I was
Are you-
not happy. Heidi Gardner kissed a lot of people this episode.
hey, dude.
I feel like you're gonna be disappointed when you hear she's kissed a lot of people. No, I am a little bit nervous.
I am a little nervous. as
Yeah,
well.
because I don't know if she's.
I've never seen her do comedy. Have you?
I mean, she has some funny moments in Knives Out, but she never plays anything straight comedically. She has funny moments in movies because of how they're written, but I've never seen her play a character that is meant to be hilarious.
Yep.
I feel like there's probably some of that we'll see in Ghosted, the Apple TV Plus movie with Chris Evans.
I'm actually looking forward to that.
That looks like it could be fun, but yeah, I am a little concerned because I don't know if comedy is her strong suit or not. So we'll see.
All right. Well, we've had a long episode, guys. It has been nice to be back.
Yeah, it's probably just because you took a whole week off, so we had to
I did.
make sure the
We just wanted
listeners
to catch
got
up.
got to hear your.
We've
beautiful
got
voice.
another episode, or we've got another podcast. You can go flex yourself. Go flex yourself. Pod.com. You can subscribe on Apple, Spotify, these kind of things. Brad, where can people find you online?
At Ethan_Anderton on Twitter. Also writing about some stuff. Sometimes it's lashfilm.com. Editing articles. You don't know which ones I edit. It's fine. It's not a big deal. And if you're interested in junk food, feel free to check out Look at Brad's Junk on Instagram, where I post about different snacks and soft drinks and fast food and all sorts of tasty things. And you can hear about some of those with our various sponsors on Go Flix Yourself.
And I'm looking at your junk right now. Ben, where can people find you?
I'd just like to quick shout out. I guess I'm wrong. Lisa Frank is very popular.
Yeah, I was so embarrassed for you listening to that
People
episode.
definitely commented on the Facebook page that
Yeah.
Lisa Frank and I'm an idiot, and it was everywhere. And I actually brought this up at so Full Tilt Arcade and Pinball on Fail Road, LaPorte, Indiana. Come on by.
Can you do a Lisa Frank day there?
No, but I did.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
I
In the,
brought
like you
that
can win
up
Lisa Frank prizes.
to my staff and the just patrons that were there, like on that Saturday, and it was like, yeah, of course.
Who
we know
hasn't?
Lisa? And everyone's heard of Lisa Frank. I felt like an idiot.
It's an American institution.
Clearly, I missed the boat.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on Instagram, Twitter. I don't really post much on Instagram, but you can find me on Twitter at Nate Laux and Facebook, these kind of things. Most importantly, though, follow us on YouTube. Go to the10to1.com. Follow us on the Twitters and the Facebooks. We really genuinely appreciate all your interactions. Give us some ratings, these kind of things. It helps us. And honestly, we are very emotionally weak people, and every good review you give us, it makes us feel good. So thanks so much for listening. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.